for whatever reason, yeah, he got injured. For whatever reason, Boston and Kyrie did not end well. So he goes and they see how well he's playing now. And they're like, well, you really never played that way for us. And then Kyrie's pointing out, I just hope, look, boo, cheer, do whatever you want to do, but let's just keep it above the table. Because there's some subtle things that you guys say and some things that have been said. And Danny Ainge said that. Well, all you do is go ask Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart said, yeah. He said, not only have I heard it for opposing players, I've heard him say it to the players that play here. You cheer for us in 1 minute, and the next breath, basically, you say this. Avery Bradley says his brother told him that they said some things to him. So Danny Ainge is not being truthful. And I get it, you caping up for your city. But I don't think there are very many people that's not caping up for Mississippi or Alabama or Tennessee or given the history of Georgia and South Carolina, and we know some of the history. So you're going to cape for your city, even your state or whatever you want to call it, but even though you know. There's a guy on the radio station say, well, yeah, there are some guys like Cornbread Maxwell and guys that were in the 80s that heard things. There are some guys that were in the 90s that heard things, but that don't mean, bruh, you validating what the players are saying by saying some guys on their own team. These are your guys.
That's correct.
You would think if anything, Skip, I ain't saying nothing about you. You my guy. I might call you shouldn't call him, but you call your guy that. And then you gonna say, well, you upset at what Kyrie said, but you're not upset at the behavior that your city has displayed throughout its history. And Kyrie's like, look, boo me. Okay, I'm good with that. We coming there with a purpose, with a mission, but let's keep it above the table.
It's hard for me to even muster up a response to Danny Ainge because he looks so bad.
Yes, he knows the history.
This was a classically bad example of white privilege, sort of white blindness, where you just can't see or feel. You're so tone deaf to even say this publicly at this point in time that this nation is at. And he just looks bad. The legacy is that Mr. Russell, as in Bill Russell, just had to survive an onslaught of racism from the people of Boston and the fans of the Celtics. And he always said, I got nothing but love for the people inside here, for my teammates and all the people who built, starting with Brett Auerbach, the franchise. Right. And remember, back in the 60s, Bill Russell was the first African-American head coach, he was a player coach, in the league.
Right.
And they were the first in 1965 to start all 5 black players. It's beautiful. And there were breakthroughs. They were the first I'm going all the way back to 1950. They were the first franchise to draft a black player. Wow. So you got that going for you, but you have this other legacy that is clearly out there that you need to acknowledge and then move on and up.
But Skip, that's the problem. It's like when we talk about America, we're not saying America isn't great, but America also has a history that you refuse to acknowledge. And what Danny Ainge did, Skip, was the equivalent of what the Republicans are doing, basically saying January 6th was a tourist excursion. That's what they're saying. Because I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't feel for my life. I wasn't scared at all. Come on, Danny, you know this. Danny, you've been there. Danny Ainge got there in what? Skip, probably what, the mid-80s? Yeah. 81, I'm going to say 81, 82. He's been there for 40 years. He ain't never heard nothing. Not one black teammate has ever told him about a racist incident. Not one.
He said, I often talk to Kyrie, and he never said a word to me about any of this. Well, I'm not sure Kyrie would have to Danny Ainge.
What about Marcus? Did you ask Marcus Smart? You asked Avery Bradley? So is that Skip, is kind of like, if I don't really want to know, I'm not going to go ask the people that would know. I'm going to go ask people on the peripheral. Because I know they don't know. Hey, did you hear anything? No. But he's not the one that told you.
Yep. So, look, the big picture point here is, in that arena tonight, I'm not sure exactly how many fans they will cram in there, but it may be close to capacity tonight. Many, many of them, you could say the vast majority, have not a racist bone in their body. A few surely do. But the point is, Kyrie has asked for it, so he's going to hear it.
Yeah, oh yeah, he getting booed.
And it's going to reverberate in there. He's going to get booed and booed because hell hath no fury like Celtics fans scorn.
Right.
Because the truth is, he was a disaster when he was there.
It's as simple as that.
He gave them no reason to love him at all.
Right.
To protect him tonight at all. And he did go back one time on Christmas Day, as you remember, but there were 0 fans.
Right.
So he got to skate through that one.
Yes.
But he's just going to hear boos. I hope he doesn't hear any comments, but he may.
Right.
It may be sort of trash talking sort of comments. But the point is, he asked for it because, remember, back in March of 2018 at a fan night, he said, if you all have me back, I'm going to resign here.
Right.
He pledged allegiance.
A fan asked, basically, a fan asked him, are you going to leave us like LeBron left? And he's like, if you would have me, Skip.
If you'll have me. And then it just fell all apart. And the next thing you know, he's throwing the whole team under the bus. These young players don't know how to win a championship. And then he finally said, ask me on July 1st whether I'm going to be back here, which indicated he wasn't. And we saw the video up the tunnel at the All-Star game. He's doing 2 to Kevin Durant. Brooklyn's got 2 max contracts, and we are gone.
Skip, Danny would have come out better, and I said, you know, it's very unfortunate that people have to, we have to guide those guys have had to experience that. But to come out and say, in his 40 years of being in Boston, come on, Skip.
Yep. Okay. And to finish up on Kyrie, his performance or lack thereof.
Yes.
His last go-round in the playoffs, they won the first series, but then against Milwaukee, they won the first game by 22. And from that point on, Kyrie shot a combined 5 of 27 from 3. That's 18.5% in those 4 straight losses. That's how he flamed out and left Boston.
And plus, Skip, I think a part of this is that Kyrie saw they actually played better with him not being there.
Yes.
When he wasn't on the court.
Well, they took LeBron to 7 games.
Right. Yeah. And even when the next year, when he would miss games, those young guys, Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, played better without Kyrie.
I agree.
And it's like, y'all really think y'all better without me? You know what? I'm going to take my show on the road.
Yep.
I'm bouncing.
That is correct. And allow me to say something very positively about your man, LeBron James. After he took his talents to South Beach with the Heat, he had to return to Cleveland. And do you remember that night? LeBron just put basically earmuffs on, right? I mean, he just went out there and you want to talk about
30, he almost had 40, didn't he?
He annihilated.
And they said they were throwing coins, they were throwing batteries, they had to have extra security.
Yes. People were going on the floor.
Yes.
And to his credit, he just shut it all out because the way to shut them up is to just score the basketball.
Well, Skip, first of all, if you look at the game, the first 2 games, they hadn't been close. And I don't really know how close this was going to be because they're so overwhelmingly overmatched.
Yep.
Just from a purely talent standpoint. So I don't really know. I mean, this thing could be over at the half.
Yep, it could, but Kyrie better buckle up. He better be ready. It's going to be a test of his character and backbone. He's just going to have to go out there and play basketball.
Man, just go ahead and get you some of them ear things and put in your ear so you can block out the noise. You might not hear a whole lot of the pit coming up, but you won't hear all that other bull jive either.
That's true too.
Because it's going to get bad. It's going to get bad.
It's going to be a long night, you know, through his ears, but through his eyes, they should go up 3-0.
Yeah.
Well, the way to silence those fans is always with your play, right? So we'll have to see how he responds there. Guys, reports out of Jacksonville say Tim Tebow looked impressive in practice. Skip, are you like commuting back and forth from Jacksonville to the show to talk about these stories? I don't know. I need to understand what's going on. We have the latest.
For real.
Next.
No mercy, no mercy.